Neither David nor Tamar had any reason to think there was anything wrong with Amnon's request. He was just a brother, sick in bed, asking his sister to prepare food for him. But behind that innocent request, Amnon was hiding something dark. The Bible, in 2 Samuel 13:6, tells us that Amnon pretended to be ill. When King David visited him, Amnon asked if Tamar could come and make him some special bread and feed him herself. To David, it sounded like a normal request. What father would expect his son to be planning something so evil? But this was one of the saddest moments in the story. A father's trust in his children ended up putting one of them in terrible danger. Proverbs 27:12 reminds us, "The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty." Sadly, all the warning signs, Amnon's strange behavior, his cousin Jonadab's bad advice, and the odd request for Tamar's help were ignored. Amnon's plan was about more than just selfish desire. It was about power, control, and a complete betrayal of his family's trust. He used his position as the oldest son, his father's love, and his sister's kindness to trap her. Tamar, being innocent and caring, went to her brother's room, thinking she was helping him, but she had no idea what was about to happen. When the food was ready and she handed it to Amnon, the truth came out. He grabbed her and said, "Come to bed with me, my sister." 2 Samuel 13:11. Tamar was horrified. She immediately begged him not to do such a terrible thing. She knew the law, she knew this was wrong, and she even tried to reason with him, offering to speak to the king. Anything to buy time, anything to escape. But Amnon didn't care. Overpowered by his obsession, he forced himself on her. 2 Samuel 13:14. What happened next was even more heartbreaking. As soon as he had gotten what he wanted, his feelings changed. The love he claimed to have turned into deep hatred. The Bible says, "Then Amnon hated her with intense hatred." In fact, he hated her more than he had loved her. 2 Samuel 13:15. And with cruel coldness, he threw her out, adding public shame to the pain he had already caused. Tamar, broken and humiliated, tore her robe, covered her head in ashes, and left weeping. 2 Samuel 13:19. But the tragedy did not end there. When her father, King David, heard what had happened, the Bible says he was furious. 2 Samuel 13:21. But that was all. He did nothing. He said nothing. Justice never came for Tamar. Some believe David felt trapped by his own past mistakes, especially the guilt from his sin with Bathsheba. Others think he was torn between being a father and being a king. But whatever the reason, his silence spoke louder than any words ever could. His inaction left Tamar alone with her pain and allowed her attacker to walk free. This silence planted another seed, one that would soon grow into more tragedy. Tamar's brother Absalom said nothing to Amnon, but in his heart he was filled with hatred and was quietly planning revenge. 2 Samuel 13:22. 2 years passed, and Absalom finally acted. He invited all his brothers to a feast and made sure Amnon would be there. When the moment was right and Amnon was drunk, Absalom gave the signal. His servants killed Amnon, and the rest of the king's sons fled in fear. 2 Samuel 13:29. The news reached David in the worst way possible. At first, he was told all his sons had been killed. His heart shattered. Later, he learned only Amnon had died. 2 Samuel 13:32. But the damage was done. His family was falling apart. Absalom ran away and stayed in exile for 3 years. During that time, David missed his son deeply, even though his death had been caused by this cycle of violence, silence, and revenge. 2 Samuel 13:39. This heartbreaking story shows us the high price of silence. David's choice not to act when Tamar was hurt led to more suffering. A daughter left in grief, a son dead, another son living in exile, and a family torn apart. Even though David was a brave warrior and wise king, he failed when his family needed him the most. He ignored warning signs, stayed silent when justice was needed, and let his past mistakes stop him from doing the right thing. His silence taught a painful lesson. When those with power and responsibility stay quiet in the face of wrongdoing, the damage spreads, sometimes for generations. Today, this ancient story still speaks to us. It reminds us how important it is for parents, leaders, and loved ones to act when something is wrong. Staying silent helps no one. Ignoring the warning signs can turn small problems into deep wounds that last a lifetime. So, what can we do to protect our families? Stay alert. Be present in your loved ones' lives. Notice changes. Ask questions. Show interest. Act quickly when something is wrong. Silence is not love. It can be just as harmful as the wrong itself. Break the cycle of harm. Stop letting old pain shape the future. Choose justice. Choose healing. Be an active and loving leader. Guide your family with both strength and tenderness. Speak up. Don't let fear, shame, or pride stop you from protecting someone in danger. As Ephesians 5:11 says, have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. Tamar's story is a mirror for many families today. The silence that destroyed her life can still destroy families now, unless we choose a different path. We can choose to be like David, who stayed silent, or we can be the ones who stand up, speak out, and protect the ones we love. The price of silence is too high. Let this story move you to act, to listen, to speak, and to protect. Because breaking the silence is the first step toward restoring peace, love, and safety.